Welcome to another Supercast. Again, I'm joined by the various networks, channels brought to you by Synergy Nation Network. Guys, why don't we go around and just say hey to everybody? Of course, you know me, the beardo weirdo Mikey Colsheen.
Hi, this is Bill with Galactic Driftwood Podcast.
Linda, also Galactic Driftwood Podcast.
Hi, with Galactic Driftwood Podcast.
Jenna, Galactic Driftwood, because they look like the roll together.
Hey, I'm Louie from Running Up the Tab.
Josh from Running Up the Tab.
Michael with Go RPG.
And I also am Michael from Go RPGs. I was going to say the sexy Mexi from Go RPGs, but
Yes!
You're just Michael from Before Head Up.
I am personally offended that you have failed to represent our people by not going with the sexy Mexi.
That's right. Okay, I'm Benito Garcia from Go RPGs.
Hey, we got someone from every show. I'm happy.
That's
At least
awesome.
one person, yeah. Hell yeah. Well, welcome to another Supercast again. We just had our, monthly meeting for the network, making plans, dominating the world, bringing you guys all the fun content we can. We've got loads of interviews coming in on the highlight section at synnation.net, synnation.net. Go check it out. Go leave us some hate mail. Make fun of my beard. Let me know what's up. But yeah.
So we got
So
some
what
exciting
you-
news from Galactic Driftwood.
What's that?
Well, we've got a couple of fairly well-known people in the nerd community going to be on our next show. Jenna, why don't you go ahead, since you kind of set up the whole thing, why don't you go ahead and talk about it?
Well, if you love comic books and AMC's Comic Book Men, we have Ming and Mike coming up on this coming Wednesday's release. And we were lucky enough to wrangle them for an hour to discuss, all things nerdy and podcasting. Because, they've started off as these two great employees of Kevin Smith and Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, which is out in Jersey. And then they decided in 2017 to start supporting other podcasts and getting people's words out, because they think it's really important that whether you're a small business, whether you're an independent nerd or artist, like if you have a voice, because we all do, then it needs to get out there, and they want to help you do that.
I love that mission. I'm so glad they have the Shared Universe podcast studios.
Yep.
Such a cool idea. So when does that episode come out, guys?
That will come out Wednesday morning. Actually,
Yay.
Wednesday at noon is our normal release time. So
Perfect.
watch for that
Hey,
to come
when
out.
you're
Should be
talking
pretty
about-
exciting.
I'm sorry.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I didn't mean to
go
interrupt when it's coming out. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. I kind of got through. It's Wednesday about noon.
Okay.
May 6th.
Hey, when you're talking about a studio that they can rent out, how is it a virtual studio or how does that work?
Oh, it's a physical. They have two physical studios in Jersey.
I got you. I couldn't comprehend how a virtual studio would work, but if that did work, how cool would that be?
Yeah.
Come up with something like that.
And they keep it flexible. Like you can literally book your time 24/7.
That's so crazy.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's obviously something they can't really do as much and promote as much now because of pandemic and sanitation and things like that. But that's why even if you can't get into the studio, if you do Zoom sessions and things like that, which is how we were able to get them on the show, they're willing to promote that and get that out there.
Did Ming have any funny comic book stories? Part 2, did Ming make fun of Brian Johnson at all?
I don't think so. Not that I recall.
I mean, maybe a little bit. But
They have a little rivalry, and every time I've heard Ming talk, someone mentions something about Brian, and he just kind of goes, "Grr." I'm like, I think it's funny.
No, but they are doing this really cool thing where basically you spend $20, you get $40 of secret stash, like alcultivated items for you that they just send you to see what's up.
That's cool.
Like it's a whole, if you go to my Facebook page and the Galactic Driftwood page, you'll see the post where Mike explains how you can get a personally cultivated collection of items for varying amounts of money, and they will send you on a new adventure in the comic book realm.
That's cool.
It is very cool. Like I'm thinking about messaging Ming, especially after we've had him on the podcast again, and because as I told the group, I had a personal story with him at Planet Comic Con that you'll have to listen to the podcast to hear. But that, and it's just saying, hey, buddy, hook me up.
There you go. Well, yeah, look forward to seeing it next Wednesday.
Yeah, it should be awesome. Looking forward
That's
to getting
cool.
it out there. So
They were very easy to talk to. It was a lot of fun. It's it's interesting because as a podcast, this was probably our first celebrity guest that goes beyond a local celebrity, because we've had a lot of noteworthy local people on. It was like we had a pre-meeting. These are the questions we're going to ask just in case the conversation dulls or whatever, because they don't know us, so maybe they're not going to be sure what to ask. Obviously, they've got so much experience. The conversation was a very natural flow.
Yeah.
And it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
You can always tell when a podcaster is getting interviewed that they're a podcaster, because they'll start podcasting other people. Like they bring back the conversation and then kind of throw back the question at you, or like pull off something dynamic like that. And I'm like, ooh, this is such great content. Like I love that feeling.
it was kind of cool too, because Charles, who people will know from the show, got a new nickname from Ming. Oh no, not Ming. Mike. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who said he wanted to call him Terrible Turpin?
Yeah, his name is Charles Turpin, so it's Turpin the Terrible, I think.
Terrible Turpin.
Terrible
That's the
Turpin.
DC character.
Turpin is terrible. I love it. Sounds like a Sega fighting character.
No, it's a DC character from their universe.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Well,
That was pretty cool.
guys. That's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you. We're looking forward to getting that out there.
I hear Jenna talking about like planning the conversation and what questions we're going to ask. And I'm sitting here going, dude, I don't do any of that. I should probably do that, right? Like, I'm so unorganized when I do stuff. Oh.
I don't think you should, Mikey. Every time I listen to your show, to me, in my mind, when I listen to it, in my mind, you have a giant list of questions, but I know that you don't. And every time I listen to it, I'm amazed, like, how does he just know what to ask, how it flows so perfectly? It just goes right into the next.
You want to know the secret? 4 Red Bulls. No, seriously.
Here's the thing, Mike, so for us, we know they do a lot of podcasts, and with this promotion, we didn't want to ask basic bitch questions.
Totally, I get that.
Because if they have fans, they probably have people who are used to hearing the same thing over and over.
Yep.
And we might ask some of those questions, or in the introduction, repeat stuff that you can just go online and see. But we wanted to really try and make sure that we were giving them opportunities to say new things.
Yeah,
that was the primary reason of doing the pre-meeting.
So, did you guys
do a lot
do
of interviews
research?
with? Sorry, Mikey.
I'm sorry, Benito. Go ahead. No.
You see a lot of interviews with.
Oh, he died.
Benito's frozen.
There he
yeah,
is.
you're back.
Did you hear anything I said?
No, you see a lot of interviews and then you froze.
You see a lot of like movie stars or celebrities and musicians and whatnot, and you can see those interviews when they're getting asked the same question. You just see their face just go. Ugh.
Yeah.
I've answered the same question a billion times. So yeah, good for you guys for doing that.
Yeah.
Did you go on and listen to a lot of different Ming interviews then, and Mike interviews, or was it more easier to kind of think, okay, well, I obviously aren't going to ask them about basic podcasting questions?
Yeah, we did that. Everyone watched a lot of episodes, and actually got introduced to new things that they weren't aware of, like John Powers on the podcast, and Seth Swanson. They had never seen Comic Book Men.
Oh,
and
wow.
they were like, oh my God, how did I miss out on this? And I'm
Right?
like, I know,
Because
right?
it aired at midnight after Walking Dead.
Yeah, right? So, and then I honestly just Googled them and see what information came up, and then I avoided that information.
Good. That's smart thinking.
That's awesome. Yeah. Respect.
We always try to go at it from the question of, like, what do you geek out about? The biggest, broadest question ever. So then you might get this musician, you might get this actor, you might get this creator that they're well known for, say, this one album or this one book, and everyone associates them with that so much. I want to know what you like that has nothing to do with your work. Like, so maybe someone's a super big Seinfeld fan and no one ever knew it. I want to uncover that.
So perfect example of that, because I think, like, Bill was great. Bill was like, and Seth both were like, what do they want to talk about that maybe they haven't had the chance to talk about? And in places where I've seen exactly what you're talking about, Mikey. So Todd Aaron Smith, most of us know him as the lead animator and concept designer of Batman, the animation that we grew up with. But his thing is, he loves baseball. He's been doing baseball cards for over 10, 12 years. And he still goes to cons and people know him for Batman and stuff. But he wants to talk about baseball. He was just put into the Baseball Hall of Fame for his art.
Oh,
That's
wow.
crazy.
I know, and he doesn't get as much of a chance to talk about that because everyone wants to hear about Batman.
Yeah. Well, Batman is Batman.
I mean, ladies, like being a kid, like his art inspired a lot of what I used to draw.
Yeah? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's cool.
So I think any podcaster and something that to consider is, what do people not know that these people really want to talk about?
Yeah. It's such a great feeling when you get someone on a roll and you know they're on a roll and you can hear it in their voice. I'm like, yes.
The passion.
Passion.
Yes.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So what about you guys running up the tab? What have you boys been up to?
Man, a lot of playing instruments, man. A lot of producing, a lot of practicing drums. Yeah, just kind of trying to keep my chops up while I can't practice with my bands currently. But shit, man. Then yeah, just kind of chilling. What about you, Lou?
Man, I'm still working, so my schedule's basically the same. I just, I wake up, gag on my toothbrush for 2 minutes, and brew a pot of coffee and go to work. So
I think you're brushing your teeth wrong.
Violent experience, apparently.
Quarantine's been really rough on Louie, guys.
Yeah, you ought to see it. You ought to see it. I'll broadcast it.
Yeah, live stream.
Yeah. I'll
Hey,
teach
Josh.
you motherfuckers how to brush your teeth.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you were practicing your instruments at home to kind of stay in, up to speed, keep your skills up. Are you doing any kind of like online jam sessions using Zoom at all with your team, or?
No, not as of yet. We've just used Zoom for like meetings, kind of talking about what we're going to be doing maybe in a couple of months when things start to hopefully open up a little bit, like practicing, recording some videos.
Okay.
As for like online recording stuff, I mean, we probably could, but it's pretty tough. It's just kind of best just to practice individually and practice to your own music and stuff. So,
Gotcha. Because I have seen some of that on like the news where they show,
Yep.
jam sessions where people get together and it's a whole bunch of people singing or playing instruments or something. And I always wondered how they coordinated that because it would seem to be kind of problematic doing that. So
yeah.
On that would be a nightmare, right?
yeah.
Like figuring out how loud other people have to be through your system versus out of their system. Oh my God.
Well, and I was kind of wondering if when people are doing that, is everybody recording the session themselves on their own machine so that then the person who's editing it can take all of the video samples and make sure that they have quality video, because everybody's got different bandwidth going into the internet and we saw a minute ago even Benito kind of froze up when he was talking there, so that would be bad in a jam session, right?
I think they just have each individual like their own tracks. Like the drummer probably has like bass and guitar and vocals, and then vice versa, and then they just kind of edit it together, I would presume. But I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. But
okay, yeah, I was just kind of curious about that.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to use some kind of earbud to do that. You can't just do it off a speaker or anything either.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely
Right.
not. Especially the drums. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny though if you tried to and you lagged and you were like a whole 2 beats ahead of everybody or something?
Oh no!
That'd be really funny. I would almost watch that just to see if you guys could re-sync.
That'd be
It'd be
kind of
such a
funny
mess.
idea, yeah.
Maybe that'd be a new podcast: Bad Zoom Jam Sessions.
Yeah, there we go.
I think you're onto something, Bill. It's funny you mentioned that with instruments. I see that I follow a lot of belly dancing pages because I used to belly dance professionally in Dallas, and so I still keep up with that. And they've done different videos and marathons and things like that for fundraising in face of the pandemic, and the variability and people's sounds and microphones, it's really difficult. And what's really unfortunate is because you're trying to display subtle movements with subtle aspects of music that may not be picked up by the microphone. It could look completely off, but if you're in person, it's perfect. And it's really unfortunate.
Yeah. It sucks.
Yeah, I could see
I didn't
that.
know you belly danced. That's crazy. Let's have a belly dance off.
Many talents. Many talents.
I'll pull out a snake like that girl from Dusk Till Dawn.
Dude, Selma
Now,
Hayek,
what
how
a-
dare you not know her name?
I'm sorry. My brain can only hold so much at a time.
She is worth holding everywhere. So
I would hold her everywhere, but
Yeah.
Just won't learn her name.
yeah, learn her name first, jerk.
yeah, no, Selma Hayek is amazing. And she actually flowed with the music. So
Did you see the TV show of that?
yes, and I actually appreciate because Robert Rodriguez actually got to expand the universe
Yeah.
and the mythology to the level that he wanted.
I
And
mean, that's all well and great, but did you see the double snakes? They had two
I mean,
snakes this
snakes
time.
for days.
They had the girl dancing with two snakes this time. It was crazy.
No, what I really loved about Dusk Till Dawn, the TV show too, is obviously they incorporated a lot of like Mexican culture and mythology, and you just don't get much of that
Oh no, yeah.
in the States and in media and storytelling. And it was, some people might criticize it for being cheesy or over the top, but it was great. I
But
loved
it is though. It's meant to be. It's that like 80s kind of cheesy action movie cheesy to me. Like
It's a cross
meant to be
between
a
a
little-
grindhouse film and modern storytelling and mythology.
yeah, so it's never gonna be like believable. You know, like I'm not gonna believe Machete is coming from the dead. You know, things like that. But
Who Danny
Um,
Trejo
action
also
movie.
gives great hugs. I met him one time.
no way. Quit hugging all my
Yes.
idols.
No, I need to find my picture and show you. I was dressed up as Faye Valentine from Cowboy Bebop. It was the first
Cool.
one I ever went to in Dallas Comic Con. And so because cons were not a big deal in 2009, obviously, they
Yeah.
had the Dallas Comic Con and then the Horror Fest that had like Corey Feldman, a lot of the horror heroes next door. So I heard Danny Trejo was next door, which yeah, Danny Trejo. So I ran next door, dressed up as Faye Valentine in my purple wig and shit, and I was like waiting. He was on break, and he comes out and he sees me in my white boots, and he's like, "Baby!" And I was expecting a huge dude, like, because
He's
the way
small, yeah.
big. No, he's little. So he was like a couple inches shorter than me. Because I was hoping I pictured this big dude
Yeah.
who would hold me over his shoulder and I'd be like this.
Nope, camera angles.
But didn't happen. But instead, he just gave me a huge hug and a free autograph and shit and was like, "Thank you so much for coming." He was the nicest dude.
That's so cool to hear. Did you hear they're making Machete in space now? They're actually going to make it. I'm so
Holy
excited.
shit. Why wouldn't you?
I'm okay
I know.
with this.
Well, they didn't make Werewolf or SS Women of the whatever.
Oh, the Grindhouse preview.
Yeah, I wish they would have
They
actually
did,
made that
yeah.
movie, but they never did.
And that is a tragedy, sir.
That would have been so great.
Well, speaking of shows and stuff, what about Westworld? What are you guys thinking about that? So the last episode comes out tomorrow night, episode 8, which is kind of makes me sad. Seems like it's gone awfully fast, especially
Yeah.
when you're in lockdown and you're looking for stuff to watch, right?
Oh yeah. The
Anybody
pacing-
have any? Is everybody watching it for one thing? Anybody not watching it?
I watched the first season. I haven't caught up yet.
Okay, we won't spoil it.
I have not. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
You can get it on Prime, I guess. We just haven't taken the time.
Same.
I mean, I'm still working from home, and I'm a little envious, but it's like it's the weird tug and pull. I'm glad I'm still getting paid, but I'm working 45, 50 hours a week,
Yeah.
and there are people who have the time to do their hobbies and their passions, and I'm like, that's
Same.
not- but I'm still getting
I'm
paid.
in the same boat. That's the
I'm
most
right there with
frustrating
you.
thing.
Yep.
We're working
I'm
from
doing
home
both.
and like, yeah.
So you guys, it sounds like you're working more hours now that you're working from home.
It's been busy for me. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say more hours, but at 40, 45 sometimes, yeah.
Just staying
It's-
really
it's been
busy.
pretty
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, it's frustrating, it's like, you know, you want a little bit more. It's like you said, it's the double-edged sword. It's like you're glad you're getting paid, but at the same time, it'd be nice to have more time for hobbies and stuff. But
Right.
you know,
Right.
I mean,
Well, they-
and I don't know about you, but there's certain, almost even a degree initially, it's not been as bad lately. Like, it's similar to survivor's guilt. Like you know, people are struggling, and you're like, okay, I'm so thankful I'm still working, but damn, I wish I had more time to follow my passion.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly.
It's almost too, for a while I struggled with posting anything on Facebook because I was like, I shouldn't be showing people how much fun I'm having, or you know, all the cool fun things I'm doing, or anything that relates to money, like buying stuff, or it's like, man, I don't want to make somebody else feel bad because I'm lucky enough to still be able to do these things, or yeah, it's just a weird feeling.
That's really kind of you, but you shouldn't think of like, you shouldn't have to censor what you're doing or what you want to say because of how you feel it's going to make someone feel. If especially like that, like, it's not like you're intentionally going, ha ha, look at all the money I've got. You're like, hey, look at this cool thing I got.
No, I know. No, I totally understand it. And it took a little bit of rearranging my brain and my thought process, but
I'm the same. Yeah, that's like me. I bought a new snare drum, and I was like, should I post this? Or like, I felt kind of guilty about it, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling getting money from the government.
Yeah.
Just saying that, like, I won't get.
I wish I could get mine.
When has that ever happened in my lifetime other than tax season? Never.
Right.
I've never had this happen in my 28 years of existence. So
No,
like,
this is a whole new realm for a lot of areas. It really is. Which also brings to mind, and you know, and people laughed at Andrew Yang and this, you know, automation is going to take away jobs.
Love that guy.
Or in a pandemic, universal basic income. Let's make sure people aren't in the streets en masse, but then they're in a place that they can pursue passions and jobs and get paid additionally what they want to pursue. It's a weird preview because let's be honest, this is a diet pandemic. We don't have people walking through airports bleeding out their eyes and noses, like a la Outbreak.
Absolutely, yeah. I totally.
And they've been waiting for this to happen. Like, the people who are experts in the field have been waiting for this to happen and have been warning about this for well over a decade.
Yeah, matter of time. You know what I mean?
And if you look at the diseases, we've seen a lot more of this type of thing happening first with SARS, and then with MERS, Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome, and now this one. And it seems like in the last few years we've seen more and more of this stuff start to show up, and you have to wonder if it's partly due to, you know, population increases as well as, you know, global warming and stuff that's making environments more warm and moist and
who else is waiting for that one Arctic ice cap to melt and there's a billion-year-old bacteria that starts wiggling again and like, what's up, bro?
Yeah.
A new uninhibited population for me to spread through like zombies? Sure.
What it's going to be is it's going to be an alien spaceship that has alien bacteria on it.
I love this way of thinking, but you also have to be careful because there are not a lot of people nowadays. Well, there's a lot of people nowadays that can't really tell fact from fiction or don't want to tell fact from fiction. There are literally people praying that this is the end of the world so that they can just like live their zombie fantasy out and not have to have a job.
Or not even a zombie fantasy. There are people who just want to be the big man and like the big fish in a little pond and with their AK-47s and do whatever.
I personally have been just waiting to be running around in my Jeep with a Gatling gun, Linda driving, and I just, you know, riddling zombies as I go down the road.
That guy's got a cough.
I'm sorry. Whose Jeep? Whose Jeep is that?
Well, our Jeep.
Yeah, I'm just gonna dig a giant hole. Just underground myself like a mole, and no one will find me ever.
Yeah.
Like
just start in your basement and just start digging like a mole.
The podcast studio will have like a Batman like wall that opens up with like a bookshelf, and then there's a giant tunnel that goes to like Benito's house.
Right. You just grab your microphone, tilt your microphone, and the bookcase slides open.
Ben's
but
got
that's
no
why
idea
there's a whole silo culture. of like construction and shit.
Yeah. Oh God.
Hmm.
Oh God. I don't want the end of the world.
I mean, here's the thing though. You're looking for a pandemic or an asteroid impact, and it's probably going to be Yellowstone. So.
Yeah. What I was thinking about the other day is all these people that build these fallout shelters, you know, because you hear about them all the time. They build fallout shelters in their backyard or whatever. And then you see in the news all these people that, you know, they've been, so the fallout shelter for a nuclear war, they'd be in that for maybe a year or more, right?
Yeah.
And here we are a month into this pandemic and people are already chomping at the bit to get back out and go to restaurants. You know, it's like,
yeah, that's the thing. You think you would
WTF.
last? You can't even make it a month.
Right.
Well, that's why they do the fucking psychological studies that they do on people before sending them to the space station.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
And all that. Yeah. Oof.
We didn't hoard food by any means, but when it first hit, I was like, "Oh shit, Meg, the shelves are empty. We got to get to the store." And so we bought a bunch of stuff, and then we just ate it all. I was like, "Oh crap!" So then we heard there was gonna be a meat shortage like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I was like,
went on stocked up
meat. God damn it! And we buy a bunch of meat.
but here's at least
all that
what
too,
they did
so
with the
we're-
meat.
We
Like
just suck it.
what they should have did with the TP was that there are already signs saying limit 1 or 2 per person.
Yeah.
That's what they should have did.
Yeah, totally.
You know what? I think that's the dumbest thing that's ever happened this year. Stocking up on toilet paper.
Yeah.
Did this virus make you shit your brains out or something? No. So then, I mean, honestly, my dad got pissed. He goes, "Be a man and use your fucking hand if you have to." He was like, "Back in my day, I just reached for some paper towels, God damn it." He's like, "If I didn't have toilet paper, we made it work." I was like, "Dad, I love you, but I'm never going to do that." Like,
I mean, this is where the Europeans have us with the bidets.
yeah, there you go.
Louis has been preaching this for months now, man.
Louis just like,
Yep.
This
I'll
is
tell you
his fucking senior thesis right here. Is why we need.
We had a whole episode on it, man.
We did.
That's
I
awesome.
don't
Yeah.
doubt it.
The key does it have warming water to just
Yes.
like just lean
Dude.
back and relax?
Dude,
Prerequisite.
the one that I used was actually at a truck stop on the way back from right. Okay,
Truck
so
stop.
so
Did you
Mikey's
test it
face was
afterwards? Did you get tested afterwards?
no,
Hey,
I
that's
probably
fresh
should have.
water, sir. How dare you?
But
Congratulations, you now have a Hep C.
so no, it was actually really clean in there. So
Oh,
I
that's
kind
good.
of
Okay.
had a little bit of confidence walking in. But anyway, I'm like, I'm gonna try this, and I tried it out. It's got the warming water or whatever. There's like 4 or 5 different speeds and or pressures or whatever. Yeah, I sat
Is
there
there
and
like a
fucked with those
pulsing
buttons.
pressure? That's key.
Yes, I sat there and
One.
fucked with those buttons, and I was like, oh, you know, and
So an hour
Then-
later, you were clean.
exactly. The key is too. This is the best part. Is there was a dryer too. A lot of bidets don't have them, but this one had a dryer.
Where was the
So-
dryer located?
Well, I
At
mean, where do
just
you
the right
think?
angle.
It's in the bowl with the, like, right next to the water thing.
Yeah.
That's not sanitary, bro.
I don't know.
Spraying water into people's buttholes, and then you're gonna fan that out with a fan that's right next to the water. You're telling me that the water from that butthole is not gonna get onto that fan and then touch my butthole? No.
Mikey, trust the
No.
process, okay?
I hate it. I'll wipe my own ass.
That blower shooting E. coli all over the bathroom.
What if someone poops on it? Like, where is it located?
That's true. That's a valid.
Mikey
I don't know,
needs
man.
diagrams. He needs engineering and projectile like
Pull it
where
up on the page.
it's going.
Damn it, if only we had Charles here. He's an engineer. He could tell us how this is supposed to work.
Yeah,
We
it's
could ask
probably
him if he would
designed-
use it.
He wouldn't.
It's probably designed way better than what I'm explaining. I'm just assuming there's a lot of people that tested it. I also don't know where the dryer actually is. I didn't stick my head in there and look, but
You just lost it.
But you didn't have to go somewhere else to dry. You just stayed seated.
yeah, exactly. And then I just in case I grabbed one single sheet of toilet paper and just tested, you know,
Make sure it was
Nothing.
all dry. Nothing.
straight, clean,
That's
nothing.
fun.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, here's an important question for everybody, and this is going to be how I now think of you as humans.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
A lot of pressure. When you wipe, do you fold the toilet paper,
Here we go.
or do you wad the toilet paper, or the patented mummy wrap?
Fold.
I fold.
Patented.
I'm
definitely
personally
fold.
offended by this question because it's gender variability here.
Is it?
What?
mummy
Some of us
Oh,
have more areas and crevices to wipe than you do.
Well, I'm just talking about asses. Let's get
Okay.
out of the equation other
You
than
have to specify, sir.
yeah. When you're wiping, Benito really. Excuse me.
Benito do it.
So we got a couple folders. I'm a wadder myself. I enjoy the chaos. I thrive in the darkness.
I'm always afraid if I wad, my finger might get.
Dangerous.
Might find a way
Really
through.
Whereas the mummy fold pretty much covers everything.
Yeah, but I'm always scared that when I mummy wrap, I'm gonna like pull my hand out of it. You know what I mean? It's like not enough there.
It's okay. It doesn't disappear or anything. You can still go back in and get it.
Ugh. Ugh. Oh, I can tell some people don't want to answer, so that's fine.
I told you I was a mummy wrapper.
You're assuming
Brian.
everyone here uses toilet paper.
Some of you fancy guys might have that butt scrubber or whatever.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm just really glad we agreed to avoid politics so we can have time.
We have time to address the important issues in life.
Louis, real quick, where was that truck stop?
You want to go check out
That was like an hour or two. It was coming back from Kansas City, wasn't it?
Shit. I think it was a
Literally
Sap
shit.
Brothers.
I'm gonna find it
Really?
and live stream myself.
Dude, it was glorious. It was the best ever.
It was like 15 stalls, and they all had bidets.
Oh.
It was like it looked like Elon Musk's bathroom or some shit. I don't know.
All right, so here's the question then: has it convinced you two to put bidets in your own home?
Oh hell yeah! I just haven't. I've been researching them for like 6 months to find the best one.
It's got to be
Okay.
just the right one, the
Right.
perfect one,
Get the
the
Bluetooth-enabled one.
most spray, the most temperature.
Yeah, usually people find their life passions in various ways, but Louis found his in a truck stop.
Well, I've
Yeah,
heard from a
Corey
couple
saying
of
that in any
of
other
friends have
context, I'd
them,
be worried.
and they highly recommend them. So
Mhm.
It might be fun to pee in it and then turn it on and have your pee streams.
There we go.
Like in the superhero movies when the two energies are fighting each other.
I'm having flashbacks to Big Trouble in Little China now.
Oh, that's great.
A great movie.
I'd hate to try that idea. I'd lose that battle.
I think the only
I mean,
person
you
that would
need to
lose
work
is
on those muscles, sir. Kegels for days.
I think the only person that loses in that battle is going to be the person that has to clean up the mess.
Yeah.
I think everyone loses in that battle. You're gonna get
There's
beat
no
up. There's no
lives.
winner. Oh, that's so gross.
Hey, hey, does everybody know what Monday is?
The fourth?
May the
the 4th
4th be with
Ah,
you.
okay.
Anybody doing any
Yes.
thing special for Star Wars Day?
Totally
Staying
shit.
home.
Staying home.
Again, Audie?
I might see
Linda-
if the gaming department wants to stream some Star Wars.
Linda and I recorded a special Star Wars greeting last night. We took all our droids out onto the patio
Nice.
and played some cantina music in the background. And then Linda operated the droids, and we made it look like the droids were having their own cantina party to celebrate.
That's awesome.
Oh,
So I'm going to
that's so
post
cool.
that Monday. It should be
Can't wait to
should
see
be
that.
fun.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
You know what you should do with that? You should also tag our Ming and Mike podcast that's coming out on Wednesday, so they also know to boost it.
All right,
Boom.
cool.
There you go. Synergy, guys.
That's right.
Let's see. Geez, what have we been doing, Mike?
What, you're freezing up there, Benito.
I
Hey,
thought
it
you
just
had
said
a
my
stroke.
internet connection's unstable.
Ugh. You seem all right. A little low.
Am I moving?
Yeah, you're moving.
Yeah, you're fine.
Nope. Good.
We haven't really been doing too much Go RPG wise. Role playing games usually are such a communal, everybody plays. We haven't got to use the rad, gaming room for a while, but we've been gaming on Zoom. It's been a lot of fun. It's been, some bugs to work out, and it's not terrible, but boy, there's something to the energy in an actual room with real people and in the beginning, it was kind of weird I don't know how to describe it, but it's definitely was a different feeling. I'm getting used to it now, and it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me to do it that way, but it's definitely, you kind of miss reading somebody's facial reaction, or again, and then I had to actually draw. Have you guys been here yet? Okay. Odd things with
Yeah.
So I got creative juices going that way. I don't know. What do you think, Mike, about when we play?
Yeah, there's definitely some challenges, like with any Zoom meeting, to get people to talk one at a time. A good D&D game, you got the cacophony of everybody jumping in and having fun and being excited, and you kind of got to watch that.
Right.
But yeah, gameplay-wise, there's certainly unique challenges.
But I would think between the two of you, because you're both kind of like co-DMs for the Galactic Driftwood, who's been doing their D&D with you, I had a chance to sit, not on this past week, but the week before's game, like having the ability to message each other instead of being in the same room and like sliding notes. You could like help each other stay on task or ask questions more that way.
That's pretty good. Yeah. I do. Here's what I really miss as much as the other stuff I talked about was normally I sit on that end down there, and then Mike sits on this side off, sort of off view, and just I could look at him and he can look at me, and we know exactly what the other one's sort of thinking just by looking across the room at each other. It's a little different on Zoom, but you guys, we got 2 players here. What do you guys think about playing on Zoom? Is it starting to feel more organic, or does it feel still less like, sort of disconnected?
I like it. I think it's working really well. I was kind of surprised at how well it's working, actually. I was kind of wondering how it was going to be, because you rely so much on the map to sort of help you build the mental image of where you are. And when we started, I was kind of wondering, well, how are we going to be able to see the map really well and figure out where we're at in the space so that we can interact properly? And then the other piece of it is, okay, you can see the map and you can see your character, but how do you relay what you want your character to do and where you want him to move? But we've kind of sorted that out pretty well, I think, you with the maps that you've drawn, and then the ability to each person go in and annotate that map and put little designs on there and say, okay, here's where my character is, here's where I want him to move, kind of a thing. So I think
Zoom's been really good for that. Yeah.
I think it's
My
working
only
out a lot
thing
better
is
than I expected.
I'm disappointed. I thought y'all would have like dropped off all of your miniatures to Benito on his like front step or something, and he's like, "No, dude, I just got these little things to represent." I was like, "Fail."
We got some that were pretty close. Like here's Bill.
They look good.
Yeah, that's
looks
cool.
that looks better than Bill's.
There's Bill. Well, yeah, I kind of got what was close. But you guys, for this next, as we get further into that house and you guys do some more stuff, some really cool map stuff, some digital maps about to come up.
Ooh.
So this is some new gameplay for Go RPGs then.
Cool. What's that?
So this is new gameplay for Go RPGs and Galactic, right?
Well, not really new.
Are you just doing games outside of recordings?
Yes, this moved on from, the idea was we did the crawl.
Yeah.
To televise, to put out to the world, but then that just sort of led into another one, which led into the other one. So
badass.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. But next second, maybe 2 sessions from now, it's going to be really cool. You guys will really appreciate, and it all comes from Zoom. Zoom gave us all the tools to be able to do what we're doing now. Obviously, it was never designed for Dungeons and Dragons, but
well, and
awesome.
I think
it works great.
One of the cool things about it, and it's not maybe necessarily related to Zoom, but the whole pandemic thing, I think, is giving everybody more time at home and looking for things to do. So whereas before we were doing bi-weekly sessions, now we're doing weekly sessions, and I think it makes the game seem more alive and move faster. So you're getting place and getting things done. And so it seems a little bit more fulfilling because you're actually getting to see results faster.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely cool.
Yeah.
So it's a new way of doing things.
I love it.
Well, let's put it this way then. If you had to do it one way or the other, which would you pick? Not going to hurt anybody's feelings.
I'd still want to be at your place.
Yeah, I think it's definitely more fun for us to all be together in the same room and interacting. But it's nice to have this as a backup because we can't do that.
Yeah.
I'd rather do this than not do it at all.
Right.
Right.
And even saying that, it's not terrible. I mean, it's just, it took a little bit to get used to, but now it's just the norm. So.
Well, when social distancing is over and everything's open back up, man, I can't wait to actually like hang out with you guys in person.
I know.
Let's go get a beer at a bar and just like people watch. I'll bring my phone. We can record and do a drinking podcast down there. Running up the
Mikey, you
tabloids.
and I have talked about this, like either a beercade or a Go 8, something to.
Let's take over that back smoking patio and not let anyone in there and just record and get drunk.
Yep.
So yeah, once the lift is lifted or the ban, I'd be down to start making that a monthly thing with you guys. Meet up, grab some beer, start making our meetings more of a thing we can do in person too.
I totally agree.
This is we can still utilize this too, because I'm sure there's going to be days where we can't all, get up.
Blizzards.
Yeah. So yeah, especially living in, the middle of Nebraska. So.
Yep.
I mean, but if anything, I love living in the future. This is when technology works, it's working really well for us right now.
Yeah. Right? I wish I could do like those Instagram or Snapchat filters on my face. Make myself a monkey or a dog or something.
I had read an article or heard an interview about just how everything's going to change once we're back to norm, which our norm is going to be different now, but how many people are just going to end up staying home and working because it's so much less expensive for companies to do that?
Right.
My company right now is killing it working from home, and they really limited us to working from home before this, but now we're realizing like we're doing actually almost better from home now, which is weird. But
well, the thing is, like, you had a lot of people who are probably not familiar with technology, who are at the top. They're scared, they're nervous, they don't do it regularly, so they're uncomfortable. And now you're forcing them to get comfortable with it. And now they're like, oh, this is not so bad. Okay.
Yeah, we had on Thursday. We have a new president of the Americas division for our company, and he had a little video chat on Thursday.
Coffee chat.
Ooh.
Where he kind of introduced himself because he actually came on board about a month ago. So he's new to the company, and he couldn't really do a normal introduction because we were just starting to go through all this COVID stuff and isolation. And so that kind of took priority. So this was kind of a chance for the people in the company to get to know him. And he talked a lot about his personal background and stuff. But one of the questions was about, when the corporate offices do open back up, do they expect everybody to come back in or whatever? And he said, I don't have any problem with people working from home. And he said, I think this has shown that we can do it and do it effectively. So he said, if there's people that never want to come back to the office and just want to work from home from here on, he said, that's fine. And he said, what we'll have to do is we'll just have to look at office space, and we may shrink down the office space to what we really need for people that feel that need to come into the office, and maybe do some sort of a hoteling space type deal where there's no permanent cubes. People just, when they come in, they find an open cube if they need to come in for the day, and they sit there. So
bring your disinfectant.
Yeah. So I think things are definitely going to change from my work perspective. So
I was just thinking, when these bars finally open up, like not halfway open up, but like people can actually start frequenting these places again, how crazy it's going to be for like a month straight.
Well, the thing is, people think that, they assume everyone else is going to stay home because they don't want to go out as much now. No, everyone's going to go out. It's going to be like St. Patty's Day.
No, some of us are going to sit back and watch what happens first.
Well, wait, I think there's a little confusion, I think, here. So are we talking about what are people going to do when the restrictions are eased starting Monday here in Nebraska, or long-term after there's a vaccine?
Yeah, I think once things start to reduce and things start to get completely back to normal with the vaccine, I think. I don't know how it's going to all unfold, like whether it be a treatment first or whatnot. But I think when these joints open up in a couple of days, it's still going to be like masks everywhere. Not a whole lot of people are going to be going out.
Well, there was a thing on the local news this morning. They were interviewing a couple of the restaurants that opened on Friday. and they were interviewing the restaurant owners, and they were all saying they were really surprised at the lack of people that had come out. One restaurant just had one booth occupied, like 2 people in it. And they said, hopefully this will change over the weekend and we'll see more people come in. But if this keeps up, we're just going to have to cut our hours dramatically because we can't survive on this. And
I don't know. I don't have any plans to go when the restrictions come up. I have no plans to go to any restaurants. I don't have any plans to go.
Right.
Obviously the bars aren't open, but yeah, I just don't. And I don't know. It's not because I'm scared to death of the virus. It's just, and it's not even the norm. I guess I don't even know how to explain it. I just don't. I just don't feel like it's time yet.
Right.
So I am actually, all things on paper, I'm type O blood, which seems to have the best resistance. I'm physically active, don't have asthma, don't have autoimmune already, but I'm not going out. My mom has Parkinson's, and God damn it, I want to see her. I haven't hugged my mother, who lives here in town, since maybe the first week of March, maybe February, the last week of February. Like, she's on the downward trend of Parkinson's.
Yeah.
And I'm losing time with her, but I'm not going to risk, like, the potential of giving her issues and watching her have a blood clot and or drown in her own, like, lung mucus. It's I think it depends on what situation you're in.
Yeah, it really does.
Not only for yourself, but for family.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I was going to say, my parents are, like, the type of people that are like, yeah, we know it's real, but I'm not going to change a single thing I do. Like, that's just the way they are. They'll still go out. They'll still go get ice cream. They'll still go for their walk at the park with the dog. And they've been like, come out to the house. Come see us. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And it's weird to me to change your entire routine. And I get it. But I'm fortunate enough to not have to worry about my parents in that way.
Yeah.
I don't know how you deal with that. You know what I mean? To just have to stay away for that long, I wouldn't be able to do it. I'm a big baby. Like, I gotta go hug my mama. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I get it.
Linda and I are kind of in a similar boat because both of our mothers are in nursing homes, different ones. And, of course, they're both on lockdown. You can't go there at all. Now, we were able to have a Zoom chat with my mother at her nursing home. The nursing home set it up for us. And so it was kind of fun. And nice to be able to see Mom because we hadn't seen her and probably it's been it was probably the end of February, I think, the last time we saw her. So,
did you have a cool background like that?
I did. I had a cool background. So my mom has kind of advanced dementia.
Okay.
And so she just kept asking the whole time where we live.
And,
yeah. I said, well, we're here in Omaha. She goes, oh, I'm in Omaha. So, but it was fun. It was nice to be able to see her. So.
I think until people actually have someone close to them who lives through it and either survives or worse yet doesn't, it's not going to hit home to how serious it can be.
Oh, for sure.
And that's just human nature.
Different. Everyone's got a different experience, so we can't expect everyone to understand. But what we should be able to do is empathize and at least have respect for other people's situations. And sadly, not everyone sees things that way. That's just the way of the world. But I'm lucky enough to say that I don't know anyone that's gotten sick. Yeah. Anyone I know doesn't know anyone that's gotten sick.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, Omaha has been blessed to not get hit so hard with this.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if that's going to change, though, now that things are opening up.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're still in one of the best spots. Like, I was just thinking about this. Omaha is probably the best spot to be during a pandemic because we have like 6-7 hospitals and UNMC's like 50th in best hospitals in the world.
Okay, so here's the thing about UNMC, though. You obviously have not had people who's had to depend on them.
No.
Because I have had terrible, multiple situations with UNMC. They may get all the money, they may have knowledge, but their care overall has been awful.
Wow.
Like my boyfriend's mother had to have quadruple bypass surgery in February. She ended up back in the ICU 3 times because she'd get out and they wouldn't take care of the things that she needed to, like cleanliness and things like that, and had to go back.
That's horrible.
No, it is. And what I'm hearing from people who've had, like, it's one thing when it's just the knowledge and okay, whatever. But the culture I've seen, and that multiple other people I know who've had people had to depend on UNMC and the actual care, it's not great. And
Josh,
I don't even care if this is posted and whatever. I want them to know that, like that it. Like, especially my mom's Parkinson's, like, she's not even critical. My mom's Parkinson's and the way they've treated her has been it. So just because we've got UNMC and whatever, it doesn't mean they're gonna protect us.
No, for sure. Yeah. That's something to hear about the care. Louis, what were you gonna say?
Wasn't Derek at UNMC a couple months ago, or what? Where was he? I can't remember.
At Bellevue, and then
where'd they transfer him to?
UNMC, and then he spent a couple of days there, I think, or I don't know.
Okay, I remember when he was at UNMC because I went to visit him a couple of times, and
it's confusing to get in there. Yeah,
it's a huge hospital, but like I didn't have that. At least from what I saw, I didn't get that same vibe. But I think a lot of people have different experiences there because his situation wasn't near as severe as say someone with Parkinson's or whatever else, whatever he was in there for, his lung thing. So, I mean, it was still pretty serious, but for at least the little interaction I got, maybe we just got a good apple for our staff that we were dealing with.
And
so
I think it depends on the floor you end on and who's running it, because part of the reason she ended up back in the ICU, Aaron's mom, was they put her on floors that were student run.
Oh man. Yeah.
So
okay.
It's a teaching hospital. It is a teaching hospital.
I don't like teaching hospitals.
I don't either. Yeah. Or health systems, like, yeah. A lot of them about money, health systems. It's all about.
No, it's a fact. Like,
your healthcare system is profit based and not healthcare based. You've got a problem with your system.
Yep.
Very profitable industries.
You have to watch too, because if they think you have good health insurance, they're going to run that. So not only does my mom have Parkinson's, she has a lump in her shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
They kept getting bills because they would send pieces of the lump to this doctor and this doctor and this doctor.
Shitty.
And they didn't tell her that that's what they would do, so they kept getting bills, and they finally said, stop. We didn't approve sending it to all these doctors across the country, and you're charging us for that testing and stuff.
Yeah.
And again, that could be a singular experience, but unfortunately that's the experience we've had, and from what I've heard from other people, it's similar.
Yeah, we'll have to ask Derek what his experience was like with the staff, because I mean, from what I saw, it wasn't too bad, but also I was only there for about an hour each way, so it could be drastically different over the 2 weeks that he was there. So
yeah, I don't know. I think it just varies, I guess, but as a whole though, like, facts given, like, health systems all about money, which is
well, and they shouldn't vary at all. You know what I mean? There should be no variation between his experience and her mother's experience.
Exactly.
He's striving for one goal, and the fact that they aren't, that's just kind of sad. So
one thing I do like about UNMC, I think, is that they're a secular, a university-run thing. So you don't have a lot of religious stuff that might interfere with the type of treatment or the course of action that you want to take. If you decide that it's time to stop treatment for any reason, there you go. If you decide it's time to stop treatment for one reason or another, you don't have a lot of those religious things where they say, well, you can't do that, or that's not an option here type thing. So
and here's the thing, like, going forward, I think obviously it should not be so expensive for nurses and doctors to get their degrees. That should not be the burden that separates people who decides to go to med school and those who don't. It's really hard work. We see that they're essential workers. I'm afraid there's going to be a gap now because they're like, I don't want to go through the next pandemic like that.
Oh, for sure.
Or, you saw a suicide in New York from one of the top ER doctors who.
That was tough. That was tough to see.
Right.
I mean, but it's like frontline combat. It really is. I mean, like that's kind of what they have to go through. And I think, I totally agree. It's like they base it off money and income and if you can afford it plus intelligence. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that could be great nurses or doctors if it wasn't so expensive,
Right.
So.
And I think we need to let's get the people who want to take care of people in there. Let's make it cheaper. Let's figure out ways to refund or eliminate, neutralize those costs to go to med school because it is a public service. Like having good healthcare in the modern first world age should not be dependent on money.
Yeah, that's not capitalism.
Yeah, what country do you live in?
I'm sorry. My Native American socialism is coming out. Forgive me.
I mean, that's why we're opening everything back up. Money.
Yep.
Yeah. It all
We
comes
lost,
down to
$200 million in this quarter in Omaha. So everyone's freaking out. We don't have Berkshire. We don't have College World Series.
Yeah.
So how's Gene Stothert going to lie about not filling the potholes next year? I mean, we got no excuse now. So,
Bro, I straight up blew a tire 4 weeks ago. I had to get my car towed because I nailed a pothole. Just blew my tire completely. They're just everywhere.
That's horrible.
Well, if this reopening of the economy goes south, they may be able to fill the potholes with the ashes of COVID victims.
That was brutal.
Shots fired, man.
Yeah.
Shots fired hard. Well, hey, I guess we'll have to see how opening up handles and how people actually decide to handle it.
Right.
Because I've seen a lot of people who have not fucking followed any of the restrictions. Like every time I've gone to visit my mother, keeping distance and mask and whatever, like sitting on the back porch, talking to her through a screen, like her neighbors are having driveway parties where they're letting all their little like crotch goblins mix together.
Crotch goblins.
I love that phrase.
I'm saving that.
Crotch goblins.
Like when you've got 4 sets of parents and like 10 kids mingling and running across yards, I'm like,
you know what?
You're keeping me from my mother.
I'm looking at the grid view right now, and I see Benito looking down, and I think he's writing a note there, crotch goblins, for the next D&D session.
They only attack you in the crotch.
Oh my God, that would be awesome.
They're only like as big as your crotch, so they're just like,
basically.
That would be great. They get to happen. Well, you know what's crazy? I just got an Apple News spotlight, and here's what it says. Is it time to start hallucinating? How psychedelics cure the uncurable. Plus, future of the post-travel pandemic. Weren't we just talking about Charles Manson being part of the Ultra program?
Yeah.
Yes.
They know.
Netflix
listening to you, bro. They're listening.
Save that link I sent you. Listen to the podcast. Read the book.
I will.
He has 60 pages of notations of where he got his information. It took him 20 years to write this book.
Damn. No, I'm going to definitely check this out.
Netflix has a new series coming out on psychedelics. A new series.
Huh.
Should be good.
Like a documentary?
Yeah, well, like those like documentary. They do them in so many parts or whatever.
I was going to say, we already talked about Midnight Gospel.
That should be good.
They're really leaning into that demographic hard, aren't they?
Right?
I
mean, I'm
think
not
people
against
are
it.
looking for a reset. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like, so I was listening to another podcast and someone brought up a good point. There's a lot of people who played it safe. They did the office job. They fucking hated their life, but they did it because they thought it'll never be taken away. pandemic happens, shit can be taken away on a notice. So maybe there's a lot of people right now who are just going to be like, fuck it. If it can all go to hell in a handbasket over like a fucking bat pissing and like bleeding on some scientist,
Right.
then why not just go do this one thing I've always wanted to do that makes me happy?
Yeah. It's on some like Fight Club shit.
With that being said, Jenna, you want to go out sometime?
Well, hopefully, I'm hoping that
Give me your shit, dude.
Shut down.
I'm hopeful that that this whole experience will give people a new appreciation for the necessity of the social safety net.
Right.
Because there's people out there that have never had to rely on it before, and they envision people that do have to rely on it as takers or lazy or whatever, and they don't realize that there's circumstances that can conspire to force you into a situation that you have no control over, and that's your only way of surviving. And hopefully people are getting a glimpse into that world, and maybe it'll change some perceptions going forward.
Yeah, we can only hope. If there's one thing that's always disappointed me about people, it's being unable to put yourself in someone else's shoes.
Exactly.
I can't tell you how many people I know that I'll never be homeless. I'm like, you don't know that. You can,
No, you don't.
could be homeless one day, and then you're begging for change, and you're wishing that I wasn't ignoring you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people are 2 weeks paycheck from being homeless.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Or one major medical disaster away from being bankrupt,
right,
losing everything they have. Yeah.
No, it's a very real thing. The whole reason I left academia, because I was getting a PhD in history, and then money ran out, and it was either take out a loan and finish my dissertation, hope I get tenure, and all of my peers, like 4 years, maybe if you're lucky to get tenure. No job security. I'm looking at to my mid-30s. Or I leave it, go to corporate America, get a job, and at least get money and study, even if I die a little bit every year in my soul. But I watched a parent die from leukemia, and the cost and the effects. Like, I don't want to go through that.
Right.
Like, it's a give and a take. You pursue your passions, and you hope to God you don't get some crisis or something that's completely out of control, or you go into the cubicle and chain yourself down, but at least you think maybe it'll be some security.
Right.
And for the most part, it was. I mean, it's not all.
I'm
It's
still
not
getting
all.
paid.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't know about you guys, like Louie and Josh. I think we're like the three younger guys in here. I have never had to think about security in my life. I've been blessed. Like, I've never had to struggle like that hard, or think about my future in that way. And when this all hit, I had a job. I had a second job I was getting. I lost both of them. I had to think, what the hell am I going to do? I'm working at a grocery store now. This is not obviously where I want to be, but it's where I have to be, and everyone's making those sacrifices or changing their lifestyles or their habits. When this hit, what did you guys think? Were you in that panic mode? Did you have to find another job? Like,
for me initially, because at first so somebody came into my office with coronavirus. They flew in. Yeah, he flew in from Seattle during their pandemic height. And they approved somehow of him flying in. He visited, and then he was getting to go back on the plane, and then started showing symptoms, so he didn't get on the plane and then tested. So they had to basically evacuate my office. And at first I was like, dude, because I work in sales, so it's kind of month to month, and then you reset. It's like never. You have to be constantly hitting goal. I'm like, if we're not working, like this is it. But then in 4 days they managed to convert everybody to working from home. But it was during that short period I was freaked out. Like, was I exposed to this? First off, did I touch the same shit that he touched? And then secondly, like, okay, am I still going to have a job here in 2 weeks? Which I'm still, none of us know, I guess. Right. But I'm fortunate enough to have been able to quickly get set up to work from home and really not struggle so much with that side of things. But I don't know, Louie, if you had a...
Well, I am considered essential, I suppose. I'm a butcher at Sam's Club, and so basically, when this started,
a T-shirt, you are essential.
I wish I have a bunch of stuff that I've ordered, like custom masks and stuff. But of course, as soon as you order them, they're like, "Oh, it's going to be a delay." Most of the shit I'm getting isn't going to be till next week. And it's been on order for like a month. But anyway, when it started, I was like, is there any danger of this shutting down or furloughing anybody or anything like that? And they're like, no, not really. We're going to kind of do everything we can to implement sanitation policies and things to keep this as safe as we can for all the customers and all the employees and stuff. And so they're like, I hope you're ready to work some more hours, because as people start kind of dropping, we might have to make up some gaps here. And so, but speaking of that, it is noon. I got to get ready to go. So I hate to be the first to go. I know Mikey was about to go at noon as well.
Mikey's going too. So.
I got to go.
We'll go ahead.
Yeah,
we can go ahead and end
off.
it, I guess. Mikey, if you want to just go ahead and close us out, and we'll just say goodbye to everybody. And
word.
With that, folks, we end another Supercast between Galactic Driftwood Podcast, Running Up the Tab, Go RPGs, Weekly, Geekly, all brought to you on synnation.net, synnation.net. Check us out for all of our content and weekly highlights there. As always, I'm the weirdo with the beardo, Mikey Colsheen.
I guess this is all of us. I'm Jenna from Galactic Driftwood.
I'm Bill from Galactic Driftwood.
Linda, Galactic Driftwood.
You're muted.
Sorry, Linda, lip read. Linda, Galactic Driftwood.
Buddy. I'm Bill from Go RPG.
Louis from Running Up the Tab.
Josh from Running Up the Tab.
And Michael from Go RPG.
All right.
And then we got Adi from Galactic Driftwood down there.
He's not here.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you all next time.
Go buy a bidet.
Bye-bye.
Go buy a
Later.